All right, today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to journey beyond that constant, nonstop chatter in our heads and really explore, well, consciousness itself. So let's just dive right in. So let me start by asking you something really direct, something that gets right to the heart of all this. Just take a second and think about it. Are you actually your thoughts? I mean, are you that voice in your head, the one that's always planning, worrying, remembering things? Is that you? Or, and this is the big question, is there something else? Maybe a kind of silent awareness that's just watching them, a presence that knows the thoughts are there but isn't actually defined by them. That's the exact distinction we're going to unpack today. Okay, so our first step is to really look at what you might call our default setting. You know, that busy, always on, constantly thinking mind that, let's be honest, most of us just assume is me. And look, this is the normal human experience for pretty much everyone, right? We get completely caught up in the movie of our lives. We're just constantly reacting, analyzing, processing everything that comes our way. It's this state of, well, total identification with every thought and feeling that pops up. But what if that mental movie isn't the whole picture? What if there's a different state of being, something that exists underneath all that activity? Like a foundation that's always, always there, even when we're too busy to notice it. And that right there brings us to our first really big idea. This underlying state, it actually has a name in Sanskrit philosophy. It's called Turiya. And trust me, understanding it is a pretty profound shift in perspective. So here's the crucial part. Turiya isn't about thinking about being aware. It's not another thought. It's the direct, raw experience of awareness itself. You can think of it like the background presence that notices everything else, your thoughts, your feelings, the sounds around you, but it isn't any of those things. It's the screen that the movie of your life is playing on. And this is how we can take this kind of abstract idea and make it really tangible. When people experience Turiya, they don't talk about some complicated vision. They talk about a simple feeling of spaciousness, of openness. And that vastness, it creates this inner space where emotions, even really tough ones like anxiety, suddenly have room to just be. They can pass through you instead of completely consuming you. It's this deep, fundamental calm, and it brings with it this incredible clarity about who you really are. And this next point is absolutely vital. Turiya isn't some prize you win or a skill you have to build from scratch. It's a recognition. That's it. It's like realizing the sky has been there the whole time, even on the cloudiest days. You're not creating anything new. You're just finally noticing the awareness that was already here. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds a little out there, like something reserved for monks meditating on a mountaintop. But it's really not. The source material is super clear on this. This recognition can happen anywhere, to anyone, at any time. So let's talk about how we can actually find this in our day-to-day lives. Just think about it. Have you ever been completely lost in a beautiful sunset? Or maybe totally absorbed in a piece of music you love? In those moments, what happens? That constant internal chatter, it just kind of fades away, doesn't it? And what's left? Just a simple, direct awareness of what's happening right now. Well, that's it. That's a glimpse of Turiya. And it can happen while you're washing the dishes, taking a walk, or really truly listening to a friend. So the natural question is, how do we cultivate this? And the guidance is actually beautifully simple. It really just starts with pausing a few times during your day and just observing that awareness behind your thoughts. The trick is, you don't judge what you find. You just notice. And from there, you can start to just rest in that simple presence. And eventually, you start to integrate that same quality of awareness into everything you do. It's really just a gentle four-step process of coming back to what's already here. All right, now, just when we start to get comfortable with this idea of being the awareness that watches our experience, well, the journey goes even deeper. We're now going to look at a state called Turiya-Tita. It literally means beyond the fourth. And you can think of it as the natural next step, the deepening of that initial recognition. Okay, so if Turiya is realizing you're the screen and not the movie playing on it, then Turiya-Tita is the mind-bending realization that the screen and the movie are actually made of the very same light. The separation between you, the observer, and the thing you're observing, it just completely dissolves. Poof! There's no longer a separate I who is aware of something else. Let's break this down because the shift here is absolutely profound. In Turiya, you've still got that subtle sense of self, right? There's an I who is aware, the experience feels spacious, clear, it's like a stable observation deck. But in Turiya-Tita, that I, that entire observation deck, it just dissolves. The experience becomes completely borderless, incredibly intimate, because that line between the observer and the observed is just gone. So we're moving beyond just reducing suffering by creating space. We're talking about a radical, unconditional freedom from the need to identify with anything at all. And this leads us to the final part of our exploration today, where we try to wrap our minds around the incredible implications of this ultimate, non-dual state. Just let that sink in for a second. Every concept we use to navigate our reality, inside versus outside, me versus you, subject versus object, all of it just loses its meaning. There's no longer a central command center, no I sitting in the driver's seat of your experience looking out at the world. Here's a really powerful example from the source material to help illustrate this. It's not that a feeling like fear just disappears. Instead, the identification with it disappears. Fear just becomes another sensation, right there alongside the feeling of the chair you're sitting on, the temperature of the air, the light in the room. They're all just appearances happening in one single unified field. Nothing is separate from anything else. So, in the end, Turiya-Tita isn't really described as some state you have to achieve. It's presented as the fundamental nature of reality itself. It's that ever-present ground of being that was here the whole time. And it's beyond our intellectual grasp because the intellect itself, the part of us that wants to figure it all out, is part of the very duality that dissolves. And so, we're going to end right where we started, with a question. When all those distinctions finally dissolve, when the line between you, the observer, and the thing you're observing just disappears, when a thought and the awareness of that thought are seen as one and the same, what's actually left? What remains?